Hello there, and welcome into a Kmoon walkthrough. This is the third of the series of 3 walkthroughs that I've done. We've already previously done Kmain and K-Summon, and now it is time for Kmoon. As previous ones, we're just talking about mostly the stats at the boss spot for single bosses. You have to divide stuff and add things up a little bit differently when you have multiple bosses or multiple phases of a boss, like the Elements fight or the Dr. Luge fight. And we do have K vanilla and B vanilla, so we will see no key items up on the moon here, and we will see just all the vanilla bosses at their vanilla locations. So we'll see Pale Dim at the Murasame altar, Wyvern at the Crystal Sword altar, Plague at the White Spear altar, D-Lunars at the Ribbon altar, and lastly Ogopogo at the Masamune altar. In order to get to the moon, you do have to get into the big whale. If you have the Darkness Crystal and don't have the big whale yet, merely land outside of Mysidia, walk into Mysidia, walk up. Once you walk into this tile here, you'll start a cutscene that you just press A through. Eventually you will get your big whale. Once you want to go to the moon, go into your whale, go up and talk to this crystal. Now we'll be on our way to the moon. We'll do a brief tour of the big whale once we get onto the moon. In the meantime, I'm going to load up the stats for Pale Dim, or the Murasame altar. Once you are on the moon, you can land right here, which you cannot do in vanilla. The reason for that is because it kind of is annoying to do that walk, and this guy tells you that. It says, hey, we've upgraded the whale, you can land in craters on the moon. So there's no restriction where you can land other than you still can't land like on boulders. This fine gentleman will take you to the Giant of Babel. We don't need to do that in the seed, but in case you have K-Mayabs on, you might want to fight the last arm chest. And if you're really hunting for a character or a boss, the 2 bosses in the Giant, your goods could be there. There are also some grinds available in the Giant. There are 6 spots here where you can act like a free cabin. Each one of these little beds will get you a full heal just as a cabin does on the overworld or an inn that you pay for. But they're nice and free here in the Big Chocobo. Use whichever one you want, it doesn't matter. And then lastly, we've got the Fat Chocobo here. You don't need a carrot to have something smelling like Chocobo, nor do you need a whistle in order to take and store stuff. Most of the time, though, you won't see runners actually use it. You don't get enough inventory in this game to where it's actually useful to do that walk. All right. Here, if you want a full heal, this heals your HP and your statuses when you step on that kind of crystal platform here, and this refills all of your magic on this side. And then finally, you'll walk up the center, and as you hit that last square, or actually the first square past the narrow opening, you enter another cutscene to where you get the character on the lunar dais. This is a restricted character, so in C standard or standard characters, this could be Fusia or Edge. If you are using a different flag that restricts different characters, well, this is still a restricted spot. You can get a restricted character, but there's no guarantee that it's restricted because, well, there aren't enough restrictions most of the time for that to be a thing. Once you've done that, you can now walk into the crystal chamber and then take a ride down into the center. But you can also talk to each of these crystals. They do give you some hints about gameplay, as well as if you haven't talked to stuff in this game, and you're about done with this walkthrough watching it, might be a good idea on your first playthrough to go talk to a lot of things. There are lots of hints, and there's some funny lines of dialogue and whatnot. Now that we are in the lunar subterrane, we're going to head over to that left side. We're going to keep walking down the lunar subterrane, and we are going to get finally to the Murasame altar. There are definitely some times where it's a good idea to use a siren on this floor. It does summon the double gold dragons, which is a great grand fight if you have access to some dragon killing gear and or the weak spell and also have a way to stop them. To go over our setup here, we do have all of our Fusiyas except the center one set up exactly this way. well, they'll have a good black magic stat stick. This one has a Stardust rod. The other ones, I believe, have Charm rods. You got a ninja hat, an adamant armor, and a crystal ring. Very high defense, very high agility. That adamant is just plus 15 to all stats. The center Fusuya is just that charm rod and a cursed ring. We want to slow him down to take advantage of the fact that there are 5 of us and one mostly of all these bosses. The D-Lunars are 2, but we're not going to worry too much about them because they can't really hurt us. So there are 5 of us. There's effectively really 1 of each of the bosses here. And 5 is greater than 1. So as long as we're fast on our inputs, we're going to do a good job of killing things. I'm also going to equip this bottom Fu with an Artie Bow and Artie Arrow for a couple of reasons. He's going to cast Zerk on himself. We're just going to switch those 2 Fus around so it does a little bit faster. And he is going to... just making sure I have all my set good. And so the casting Zerk on himself is going to have him attack with that Artemis Bow and Artemis Arrows. The Artemis Arrows are strong against dragons, and 3 of the fights here will have dragons, and then 1 of the fights will feature Plague, who is flying, and he gets a little bit of a weakness to arrows. It's also kind of nice to show how the Berserk status really does help you out on the moon in terms of like evening out your turns, because the ATB doesn't advance when someone is attacking or when you're in the middle of an animation, but you can still enter people's menus at times. So it's a nice trick in order to have someone be berserked early in a fight to give you more buffer to do things. So go ahead and walk down, press A to start this fight. And this will be Pale Dim, who has 27,300 HP, has a speed of 40 to 43, and is a dragon. He does absorb lightning, ice, and fire elemental damage, or damage from spells. He'll be resistant to it from physical attacks. He does counter physical attacks, like you see there, with the slow spell, and otherwise he just punches. He does have a couple other counters. He'll counter, not only does he absorb the damage from fire, ice, and lightning spells, he will counter those spells with attacks of that same element back at your whole party. He'll also counter the Rydia's Call ability, which can be pretty brutal at times. That is a Quake spell counter, so you can both avoid it with Float, or you can get absolutely wrecked by it if you're not paying attention. However, it's going to be pretty straightforward here. Pale Dim is usually pretty easy, but can be very brutal early when you have like Yang and Elemental Claws only on him. Also one of the risky bosses to use Grimoires against, because Grimoires aren't the call ability, but they are still, they'll still be considered magic. So it'd be like, if you get Indra, it'd be like casting a bolt spell or a lit spell at him. So you can have some bad times ahead of you with Pale Dim and using stuff like that. But onward, we'll go to the Crystal Sword Altar, where we'll fight Wyvern. It is entirely possible that in playing the vanilla game, you never got here, because there's a hidden bridge that is invisible that you have to just have faith and walk over, like it's Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. Very easy to find the way, though, once you know where it is, and this location has 25,000 HP, is very fast at a speed of 43 to 46, but it does have very, very low magic power overall. You are intended to get mega nuked by Wyvern to start the fight, but also to be able to have enough HP that you can survive it. So bosses that do a lot of magic here are kind of pushovers. Bosses that do physical damage are very much not. This is one of the highest physical damage spots in the game. Dark Knight Cecil can absolutely hurt here. Any physical based boss is going to do primo damage at this location. I forgot to call out exactly where the bridge was when we went over there, so we'll make sure to do it on the way back. I'm going to save here real quick. We're going to do this fight a couple of times. Once, just as is. You can see that we'll get mega nuked. We'll survive it because we have lots of HP. But you can see once how the Mega Nuke's going to come out, even when I'm well anchored, because I can't run buffer here, then we're going to slow down the battle speed to like battle speed 4 and see that I'll suddenly be able to get some Star Veils off. Here we are going to, and to really prove that out, we're going to switch, because Berserk has a little bit of delay. So I'm just going to straight out switch to a different Fu up top. And try and cast the nuke as fast as possible. And no chance. We do dodge it though, so it's fine. Wyvern's next action is going to be throwing a wall up, so we have a limited amount of time in order to directly nuke Wyvern. So we'll probably get these next 2 nukes off, then maybe think about casting Quake with the top Fu. Overall, we're not really worried. We've done, what, 12,000 roughly in terms of nukes. Once this one lands. Yeah, so all dead. But if you're not well anchored and not well prepared, Wyvern absolutely can wreck your face. That's why we call Battle Speed 6 Wyvern Standard Time. And hey, there's a vanilla reward from there. But let's take a quick reset. Move battle speed up to 4. And take that fight again, and we should be able to get, I'm just going to direct nuke with everybody, and we should be able to get at least 2, maybe 3. Yeah, looks like we're just going to get 2 before the Mega Nuke. At this point, the top food, the food that I just entered this thing in, won't get around into the queue fast enough for his turn to actually pop, which is why we'll get nuked there, but then we'll finish off with this nuke. And then Battle Speed 6 is even a more extreme version of that. When you're starting out, absolutely feel free to move to Battle Speed 6 whenever you feel like Wyvern is going to be brutal for you. It will give you lots of time to set up and do things. As you get better at the game, or if you're at a place where run buffering is more possible than it is on a lot of the moon locations, you can leave it at faster speeds to get you through the fight faster. Overall, in terms of less time, because there's just how much extra time it takes to fight fights at battle speed 6. That's a thing to work up to, and just early on, you want to survive. Not resetting, or not resetting multiple times is faster than having to reset 4 or 5 times, just because you're trying to push the envelope in a race. When you're practicing or just playing for fun, do what you will. But when you're racing, you kind of want to have your stuff on autopilot rather than having to think about stuff. So practice is a great time to play and to play around with things and to explore your limits and the limits of the game. But otherwise, you kind of want to work on some different things. We are going to take a cabin. There is a quick kill for plague. We're not going to do it here. I have a different video on this channel, and there's some descriptions in the Discord and stuff for you, but you can use plague's count against plague. Very handy in very high HP situations or places where your damage is very low compared to the HP. Elements spot is a good spot for it. Rubicon spot is a good spot for it. Early Fame Archives are a good spot for it. Oh, we're also on battle speed 4, so we're going to get a lot of stuff in. I forgot to move it. I did save, so we'll probably come back with this afterwards too, just kind of show it off. I don't have all of the tools handy to make a Plague Reflect kill as fast as possible, so we won't show that off. We'll just show the fight off in a little bit of a different way, too. Forgot to bring up Plague stats, so let's do that now. White Spearaltar has 28,000 HP, which you just saw all go away. Has a speed of 29 to 32, so much slower than Wyvern. This is a much easier spot to get through than that spot can be for the Crystal Sword Altar. But let's go ahead and reset one more time. We'll change this back to battle speed 1. Also actually recommended too when you are starting to play the game. Even if you've been playing a bunch on other places of the game at battle speed 1, move this to battle speed 2 or even 3 for your first couple times on the moon. The fights are hard enough in general. They're going to last a little bit longer unless you're way super powerful. And you just buy yourself a little extra time to make decisions and to just hand less time back to the computer. Absolutely feel free on the moon, especially if you're doing it underpowered for what you feel is underpowered. Move that to BS2. Just go ahead and do that. You'll do yourself some favors. So let's do that fight one more time. We are going to Zerk everybody instead, and we'll kind of show how you will stay alive against the count. That Fu might kill a little bit faster than I really want. Oh, Top Fu's the problem. Okay, we're gonna kill Top Fu real fast. We're gonna show how clogging the queue works in terms of keeping everybody alive, even when the zeros are on their heads and they look like they should die. That's going to come about because of some deep stuff in the battle system. Also, life potion is going to set us back to 10 on the speed. That's okay. But since the game can only really resolve one status at a time, one like Petrify or Count or other thing, once we really get this going, you'll see that even if I just hang out, even though the things will be at 0, we're gonna still be alive. We're gonna be at 0 forever until we kill the plague. Want to chill because we're gonna get a heal from plague here real soon, getting us all up to 10. And now I'm just not gonna do anything with this Fu. You'll see them tick at slightly different rates. That's because of fast and slow spells, I believe. We're gonna parry with this food now up top. Okay, so now everyone's at 0. You'd expect us to start dying off, but we're just not going to. We are too fast, and the queue is set up in such a way that the attack is going to take priority over them dying from the resolution of the count. So even though we're at 0, we're not dying. And we'll be able to do this forever. There's more detail on this available in the wiki, or somewhat on the wiki, somewhat on in the Discord. It's in a couple of places. You don't need to necessarily know tons of the detail because you just get everyone zerked and you should be fine. And we'll be through this fast enough here. But Plague, this entire strat, as well as the quick kill, now when you want to look at a video for that, those make Plague doable at many locations, and make it so that it's a good good boss to kill fairly easily and early. Go ahead and elixir up, make sure we have all our magic and whatnot, and we'll head over to the ribbon room and to fight the D-Lunars. At that location, there's 42,000 HP for a single boss. Each D-Lunar, then, since there's 2 of them, will have 21,000. The speed is 30. And the D-Lunars, they have a couple of tricks up their sleeve. They're both dragon and undead trait. So if you have dragon killing gear, they'll do quad damage. If you have undead killing gear, that's like a crystal sword. Not necessarily everything that does holy damage hits the trait of undead. There's a weakness to the holy damage type, and there is the undead trait, and those are 2 different things. That's why crystal swords are super good against the Lunars, because they do have a double weakness to holy, but then they get a quad weakness to the crystal sword's undead killing property. So dark Paladin Cecil with a crystal sword does lots and lots of damage to them, where Paladin Cecil with an Excalibur just does like lots of damage. They also counter the fight command with a script where the one that you hit will cast wall on the both of them, and then they'll start bouncing viruses off of the walls, which makes the D-Lunars very dangerous at spots with high magic. You want to avoid using the fight command until you get a better sense of whether or not you're able to kill them in the time that you have before they kill you with the viruses. I am not going to show the Lunar Frog strategy off. That'll be possibly something for a different and more advanced video. Instead, we're just going to nuke and nuke. Quake is also a very good spell. For them, we'll probably... See, since it was 20,000, we'll do 2 nukes to each one, and then we'll just quake the rest of the way. Because once they are alone, they will start responding to any damage that you do to them directly with flame casts. So your entire party takes 20% of their HP, or fire casts, and their normal script is to cast fire twice. And then attack. They each attack once, they each cast fire once, and then they each attack 4 times. And then at the end of that 4th attack, they'll use the breath attack, which you can reflect back onto them and does work on them. And then they'll just start the script over again, and they'll interrupt that script if you use the fight command, which does include berserking somebody. But that is the Lunars. They're pretty straightforward a lot of times. They're a great way, a great reason to also invest in Cure 3s early. Cure 2s are nice on them early. Cure 3s do a great job of them at a lot of places. The Cure 4 spell works nicely on them when you have white mages. So there's a lot of tricks that you can play on them. Big Bomb is nice. The fire-based magic is strong versus them. And then our last altar is going to be the Ogopogo altar. This is one of the meanest spots in the game. It has very high magic and very high attack. 37,000 HP is pretty strong. And then 27 speed isn't too bad. So this is one of the places where you're going to do okay. It also has a low enough level that does allow me to run buffer, so we're going to start this fight by run buffering out. We're going to switch it up. We're going to run buffer out a Cure 4. Probably don't need to run Buffer it out, so let's not run Buffer that out. We'll just do a Cure 4, because because Ogopogo is going to throw a double Big Wave at us, so we'll be at half our health immediately. So we'll want to Cure 4 that back up right away. Then we're going to get a Fu Berserked to get him going, and to kind of help buffer our turns a little bit for those inputs I was talking about earlier. Then we'll throw a Star Veil up on someone, and then we'll bounce spells at Ogopogo the rest of the way. Now, the reason we're bouncing the spells is that Ogopogo counters magic with counters magic with Flame for most or with Blaze, which is an ice-based damage version of the same fire that we saw the D-Lunars use. Or if you're attacking with lit spells, we'll do a single target weak spell. If you have to cast things at Ogopogo directly, Lit 3 is not a bad choice because of that. It's a little more manageable because it only hits one person and mostly takes in the fight rather than doing 1/5 of your party's whole health all at once. So again, press A. Let's get this fight going. So we'll throw a Cure 4. Big waves come out. Ogopogo cheats a little bit on this big wave cast when he does 2 of them, or when Ogopogo does 2 of them, because it does use the Start a Chain cheating technology that Evil also employs. Then we're going to, where's our Star Veil? There we go. And Ogopogo does the big waves, does like big wigs and cycles of 2 and then 1, and then intersperses those with a couple of punches. Don't count the couple of punches there as exact count. I think it's probably 2 per, but I don't actually remember offhand. But you just know that the big waves come in a cycle of 2 big waves to start, so you go to 0.5%. Then the next time the big wave happens, it's only going to be once. Then you're going to get punches again, and then the time after that's going to be 2. So 2 to 1 to 2 to 1 to 2 to 1 in terms of big wave casts as they come out. We're gonna do 1 Dark Nuke here, because why not? We'll be fine. I think the fight's already over, though. There we go. There are all the lunar altars done. You can get, because the HP, or not the HP, but the XP you get from these is pretty solid. It's like 100,000 XP at the Ribbon Room without any bonuses or modifiers. Depending on what bosses are up here, you can get a huge bonanza early if you have a seed with Kmoon and you're able to do some of the spots. But it can also be very, very difficult, so it's an interesting risk. Lastly, I do know that in my Kmoon walkthrough, I did show off Reflex Strats. But I did not actually have my mic going. So we are going to do Reflex Strats one more time. We did a little bit of setup here. We're going to keep the same, mostly the same. Actually, we're going to switch U2 and switch U2. So you, I'm going to maximize my first spell cast with you, because we're going to start, the way this fight's going to go, we're going to throw a crystal with Middle Fu, because Middle Fu will go first. Then Top Fu is going to throw up a Star Veil. Then Bottom Fu is going to throw out a Holy, targeted at the Fu who just used a Star Veil. And then fourth from the Top Fu, second from the Top Fu, which is this one. This is slot 4. And this one's going to direct cast a nuke. That's going to cause Zeromus to counter that nuke with another nuke. The way Zeromus' script works is it's going to lower the spell power that Zeromus has for a bit. And Zeromus won't reset the spell power of the first Big Bang at all. He just assumes that he's not going to have changed his spell power, and so he doesn't set it directly to anything. Future Big Bangs in the script do get their spell power reset on the turn Zeromus takes when Zeromus cues the Big Bang, and that'll happen. Zeromus will shake,
And then the next time Zeromus gets a turn to say, hey, I want to do something, that's when the spell power gets set and Big Bang gets queued. And you have a much narrower window to nerf spells beyond the first one, or nerf Big Bangs beyond the first one. But with Reflect Strats, we will only see one Big Bang. So again, it will go, this Foo right here in the center will throw a crystal. This Foo will toss a Star Veil on himself. This Foo will cast a Holy on this Foo. And when this Foo goes, he'll direct cast to nerf. This Foo will then bounce nukes. And then from there on, everyone's going to cast nuke off of the wall until Zeromus is dead. Zeromus has 65,000. I don't remember what the real number is offhand. HP does get a refill when you do direct damage over 45,000. It gets a full refill back up to the top. And then you have to do all the damage again. With Reflect Strats, we're just not going to do direct damage, so there's no refill happening, and we're going to kill Zeromus pretty quick. This is K Vanilla, so you do get the crystal just by walking here to Golbez. On flagships that are not K Vanilla, that Golbez is not there. There are some other interesting Z strats that we call either Eddie strats or 1200 strats. They're kind of variant on the same thing, or Foo and Friends, where you do, you kind of bait out either his nuke or viruses or something, and you find ways of nerfing the Big Bangs. And there's information in the Discord, and there's videos for all those and other places. But another important thing, you did see me earlier set the battle speed to 3. You do want to set battle speed to 3 for doing Reflect Strats. It is very, very important. You will very likely lose the race, or lose the fight if you are going at battle speeds that are faster than that. So battle speed 2, battle speed 1, it's just too hard. I've seen very, very good runners try to do this fight at BS1 in a tournament race, and they lost because of it. So let's go ahead and throw our crystal. Move that up top. So we got Crystal Throw, we got Star Veil Toss. And again, we're going to cast Holy at the top Foo, at Santa Foo. And then Halloween Foo will cost a direct nuke to bait out that nuke counter and reduce the damage of the first Big Bang to where it's only going to do at most 1200 HP. There's the white spell, so we bounce that. The reason we bounce that is because we don't, Zeromus' first turn will be to take away invulnerability from himself. And if you direct cast from where the pink Foo is, that bottom slot, you don't actually have time in your, you'll very often not give Zeromus enough time to take that off by the time the spell resolves. But if you do it from Orange Foo slot, from Halloween Foo, that's slot 4, you always have plenty of time. You're going to be golden. Offer of being golden is void probably on BS6 and maybe even on BS5. Not sure on BS4. Really depends on how fast you are on your inputs for kind of those differences. But if you do BS3, you get your inputs in quickly. It doesn't matter really how fast your inputs are. That Foo that I direct nuke with, the second from the top, battle slot 4 as we'll call it, or slot 4, he's going to be good. But, so, you're seeing how fast we've gotten these in overall. Zeromus hasn't even done the Big Bang yet. He's queued it. He did the shake, but hasn't actually cast it at us yet. There's the Big Bang. It's going to do at most 1200. It's going to do less than that because of all our defense. Yeah, you see like 5th Foo, the 4th from the top, only getting hit for 200 damage from the Big Bang. Even Cursoring Foo only took 1000. I think we're done with inputs. We might have one more nuke that we have to cast that I'm just going to put in here, but we should be good.
boom, there is done. Again, that is the walkthrough of the game. We've done all of the main Kmoon and now K-summon checks, or well, done all of the K-main, K-summon, and now Kmoon checks. I won't do a K-Mayab walkthrough. It's rather too long, and I think those are better served with the very wonderful guide that Xpancrez put together that lays a link to on the wiki. I will try to remember to link to it in this video. But I don't think it's as good of a video as these would be. There's really nice clear pictures of where all the vanilla boxes are. And so I think that is probably better served for that. But do please message me on Discord. I am Antidale there, as I am here on YouTube. Send me a message if there are other walkthroughs you'd like to see or other helpful instructional videos, so we can make sure that we get created. We've been kind of a little behind on that for a long time, and I think it's a good time to go ahead and get those instructional videos back out there and get people seeing stuff. There's a really good video from Telgrant, and I'll try to remember to maybe add to the end card about understanding agility, which I recommend highly if you are new to the game. There's videos for a lot of stuff, but there's some videos that we could also continue to make a little bit better. So have questions, come into the Free Enterprise Discord, the workshop, and say hi and ask questions in Newbie's Corner. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this has helped, and have a great day.